Hello, welcome to Old Nerd in the Thrift Store, episode 6. This wasn't a big haul from this thrift store, but generally I don't get big hauls from thrift stores. I dig and I dig and I sometimes don't find anything. Sometimes I find one gem. Sometimes I find a bunch, but generally it's one or two things like today. My wife and I went to a thrift store that we like down in central Pennsylvania. This place is not like a Goodwill or anything like that. This is an independently owned in the little town that it's in thrift store, and I think it benefits like the poor there maybe or something. I'm not exactly sure, but they generally have some really neat stuff. I'm a little ashamed to say that I buy some underwear there, but their books and their movies they don't have a lot, but if you dig through them, and they're very well, you don't really have to dig, you just look because they sort everything out really nicely, put them on shelves so it's easy to see, you don't have to dig. But if you comb through the shelves, you'll find some good stuff once in a while. And that's the case with this. Now you're looking at this book and probably thinking, what the heck is that? You've never heard of it. I'd never heard of it. I found another one of these books. This is a series. This is number 4, Jenny Dean, Science Fiction Mysteries, The Secret of the Invisible City. This is book 4 in this series. And from what little I could find, there might only be 4 books in this series. But a year or so ago, at a different thrift store, kind of in the same area of central Pennsylvania, I found another Jenny Dean, and I'd never seen it before, never even heard of it. But it looks like the type of book I would have loved when I was a kid in the late 70s, early 80s. I was really into Alfred Hitchcock's 3 Investigator series books back then. I'd get them from the local library and read them in like a couple hours. I loved those books, and like the Hardy Boys, I didn't mind them, but they all had kind of this look about them back then. And so when I discovered the other book a year or two ago in a thrift store, I got it because it was in fantastic condition. I'd never heard of it, and it looked awesome. So I grabbed it, and then I was pleasantly surprised to find this one when we were at this thrift store for $1.50. And these are very rare. Like, I asked Grok about this series, and Grok had information on the first book and on this book, the 4th book. Grok had to guess about like what number 2 was about. So I don't even know if it exists. I don't know. Maybe they printed them out of order. They printed 1 and 4, and they were going to do 2 and 3, and 1 and 4 didn't do well enough, and they didn't. I don't know. I'll have to keep my eyes open to do a little bit more research. But these books are very cool. It's about a 16-year-old girl, Jenny Dean, and her friend, and they live in a city in Kansas. And science fiction-y mysteries happen. This one, they get whisked away. This one's kind of like based on Wizard of Oz in a way. A tornado whisks Jenny and her friend away to a Shangri-La type city where they become embroiled in a war between that city and another city or something. And it's pretty wild for a young reader's book. Short chapters. I don't know. Oh, yep, illustrated. Pretty decent illustrations. Looks like typical late 70s, early 80s type style of illustration. But yeah, these books are intriguing to me. So I found 2 of them now, and I can't remember what the other one was that I found. It might have been the first one. Mystery of the Shining Children. What Grok could tell me about that was it's just like it sounds. Like, other kids in Jenny Dean's high school have weird skin tones or something, and they have strange powers. And so this would have, been shortly after the movie The Shining and the book The Shining came out. So The Shining Children, I guess that's what the first book's about. And I can't remember if that's the one that I got or not. I'll have to dig through my my pile of books to see, but hopefully I didn't buy the same one twice. Maybe I did. I don't know. But anyway, that's really cool. And then this was there as well. The complete 1940 movie serial collection. 15 segments, includes all 15 segments. So this is the old black and white Batman serials that would play in the movie theaters back when Batman Detective Comics first came out and got really popular from DC Comics. And then they made these serials. So this predates the 1960s Batman TV show. I've never seen these. I happened to mention this to my neighbor, who's an older fella, and I said that I found this, and he said, "Oh yeah, they were really good. They drove around in I forget. He said what kind of car they drove around in. He said they didn't have like the fancy Batmobile like they had in the '60s TV show. They just drove around in like a 1940s Cadillac or so. I forget what he said it was that they drove around in. So he's familiar. He was familiar with these, which is neat. And this is in really nice shape. Doesn't look like these discs have been played much at all, more than one time. There's no scratches or scuffs. So I'm looking forward to watching this at some point. It's not going to be high on my list of things to watch, but I do want to watch it. I imagine it's a little cheesy, but a little campy, especially being in 1949, 15 years before the Batman show came out on TV. But people love it. I've heard people talk about that show for years, or that serial series for years. So I'm looking forward to watching it at some point. And I'm looking forward to reading that book at some point, and hoping that the other book that I have is not the same one, and hoping that I can find the other two in the series. So keep your fingers crossed for me. If you have any information that could lead me to finding the rest of the books in the Jenny Dean Science Fiction Mysteries series, please comment them down below. And other than that, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you being here and listening to me ramble. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.